Hello Scorpio friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Scorpio September 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month for Scorpio, Crossroads for Scorpio, defining moments ahead. And I'm going to get into all the details as to why this is one of the most intense, if not the most intense month in the whole year. It's leading up into Scorpio season, which has already gotten a head start because of a star goddess sequence of Lilith, Juno, and Vesta in Scorpio, even before the sun makes it there. And of course, we've got two eclipses. There are more aspects this month than we've had in a very long time. And the sky is going to be really, really busy. So we're going to get into all of these details and what you may see as a Scorpio from this. This is for you if Scorpio is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other placement of Scorpio you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Scorpio friends, so birthdays like November 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degree Scorpio placements through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Sagittarius report, as you Scorpitarius friends can benefit from both readings. This month is full of pressures and opportunities, of amazing aspects and points of contact in your chart that make you stand at this crossroads. The crossroads energy is not just this month, but there are certain layers of it that are active more this month. Scorpio has been in a long-term process of massive transformation. I've had a front seat to this. My husband's a Scorpio, and it is really amazing to see what you all have been going through, and wow, just what you've been able to do with it, at least from what I've watched him do with it, and I'm sure many of you have watched yourselves do the same. So I want to talk about some of those things so you understand the bigger picture of what's going on for you, the shorter term picture, things that will be present just this month, and some cycles at play that are coming to a head right now. Pluto hanging out on this 4th house cusp, opposing your 10th house cusp, has been putting you for some years now in this position of transformation within your home, your housing, and your work, and your place out in the world. So your inner world, your outer world, your homes, your jobs, your family, your mission, and trying to find balance with these new changes. New changes could be some years old, but still may feel new. I'm sure has been very difficult for you. And this is continuing, okay? So early degree placements, so October born friends, you're going to be feeling a certain level of this even more because in the Placidus charts, this is activating very, very right on right now. And even the November born friends, in the whole house chart, this is activating. So no Scorpio is getting out of these potentials, okay? So what I've come to see from decades of doing inner work, self-development work, and helping other people do the same is that the questions we ask ourselves define our experience. And you're going to be having the opportunity to ask yourself a lot of questions. And if you start asking yourself some different questions, it may change the trajectory that you're on. So right now you're holding on to certain ideas, ideals, perceptions within your place, within your home and your inner world, and your place out in the world and at work that you may have to let go of to get to the next level of balance. If you've struck a beautiful balance between these realms, the unseen, the intuitive, the practical, the tangible, you're about to go to the next level of utilizing both of those parts of your brain. Researchers who have studied Einstein's brain have found that one of the big things about how special his brain was is a very well-developed corpus callosum, which is the matter that connects the two sides of the brain. So not only did Einstein have capacity for a massive amount of logic, he also was very deeply connected into intuition and getting information from unseen and untrackable sources. And this is a process that all humans have the opportunity to go through. These eclipses, the Pisces, Virgo eclipses that are happening this month, are activating. But also this transit and another one, which we'll talk about here shortly, are giving you the opportunity to fine tune. If you go to one side of your brain instead of both sides of your brain, things are going to be more difficult for you. So the more you can stretch into whatever that opposing force is for you, the more you can, bring this really much needed balance in your life. And I think being human, one of the things we're trying to do here is be balanced and find balance. But there is a special story about this balance for Scorpios, okay? So, what kinds of questions are you going to be asking yourself, or do you have the opportunity to ask yourself? Let's get into that. Where have you been wounded in relationships? And how has that affected how your self-esteem is? How has that affected how you show up in the world and what your identity is and what you claim to be your truth as far as, how people know you? Not only is Pluto putting you at a crossroads, Chiron is putting you at a crossroads. As Chiron is very close to getting into Taurus, it's activating your 7th house. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's your Achilles heel. So when Achilles' mom dipped him into the waters of eternality and immortality, he was held by his heel. So his only weak spot to be able to be eternal was his heel. And so, of course, where did he get shot and die? In the heel. All right. So this chironic journey that's opposing your ascendant, which is, and when I say ascendant, I mean ascendant in the solar Scorpio chart. If you are a Scorpio rising, this may be close to your ascendant in your natal chart, but either way, the solar Scorpio chart has this opposing the ascendant. Okay, they're two different charts, but they're just as relevant for Scorpio placements at the same time. But either way, this chironic journey is making you ask the questions. Where are you wounded? How is that interfering with your life? How can you heal? What steps you need to take to heal? And how serious you are about healing. Because you can either go deeper into dysfunction and deeper into ancestral manifestations, genetic expressions, patterns that your parents have held with how you live and even how people in your family have died, diseases. And how can you turn different gene expressions on? Studying epigenetics is something I'm just going to put out there. I do mention it periodically. Epigenetics is the study of how forces within us and around us can affect genetic expression. We're not doomed to our genes. When they started mapping the human genome, their mission was actually to monetize it, which we're not going to get into that. But what they found out, well, what Bruce Lipton found out, is that the genes aren't the only story. There are many factors that turn certain genes on and turn certain genes off. So if you are entrenched in disease, if you have patterns of behavior and emotional processing that has contributed to lack of vitality and joy, these crossroads are points, these defining moments are points at which you flip the switch and you flip the script and you change the pattern. And it's a very, very big deal. And the veils are especially thin at eclipse time. And the power for time to be warped. I talked about this in the August report. If you haven't listened to that already, you may want to go back and listen to that, because I'm not going to go into as much detail here about what I talked about there. But Einstein's theory of general relativity talks about how gravitational fields basically form around objects of mass, and that these objects of mass bend time and space around them. That's why our gravitational field is different than other planets, and why people age differently once they get out of our atmosphere and our gravitational field. So when the sun, the moon, and the earth line up, it increases the gravitational field. So as the mass increases, time and space bending increase. That's the basic summary of what I talked about, but you can get more details in the August report. But the point is that at eclipse time, which September 7th, we've got the lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces. That will be in the 5th house for Scorpio. I'll talk about that soon. September 21st, we've got that black moon, 29 degree of Virgo solar eclipse, and that will be in the 11th house. I'll talk about that soon. But when we are in eclipse time, and eclipse season really started getting warmed up, second half of July, all of August, it's building, building, building. September is the big boom. And we'll echo this out, into October. But at this time, you have the capacity to find rifts in the time-space continuum and actually change things. You can align realities, past realities, future realities, into something that works for you. You can look at a future self potential of vibrancy and happiness and balance and align with that. You can find, I'll call it magic, because basically I believe that magic is science that we haven't figured out yet, or science that we know and we still can't wrap our brains around. So you have this time to make these definitions. These defining moments are happening, and the eclipses are helping to give you more options with the other longer term crossroads that are at play. You see, because the power to burn off a massive amount of karma in a short amount of time is happening now. Other questions that you have the opportunity to ask that can be very powerful at this time have to do with the 5th house. This is where the September 7th lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces is. Are what creativity and an expression of your creativity has not had a chance to blossom? What are you willing to do in order to make space for that? How committed are you to fine-tuning your craft? And how brave will you be to bring your expression out into the world? So a lot of these things are going to be coming up at this time. Just to give a little bit of background, the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle started in the second half of 2024, and it goes through the first half of 2027. So we're at the midpoint now. This series of eclipses this month is the third set of these that will be cycle. So what is going on for Scorpio is your creativity versus your place within a group, your expression versus the 11th house, the greater good, you being part of a team, you being an individual, you shining as an individual, you leading a team. This is a process when Scorpio is taking their creative faculties and figuring out how to go bigger with this. How can you apply this to a group that needs you? Maybe it's within work, maybe it's a passion project, maybe it's a team that you're a part of, but there's a dance back and forth between your own expression and you as a member of a group or a team. All right, so these are really important questions that are coming up for you. And there are keys to your happiness. You've got, as I said before, Scorpio season started a little bit early in the way that Lilith, Juno, and Vesta are all in Scorpio in your first house. This is really magnetizing your appeal. If you have to ask someone for something or take a leadership role or redefine a relationship or step into a place of certainty in your life, these star goddesses are helping you to do that. They're in this first house of Aries, and they're giving you persuasiveness and assertiveness and magnetism, which is really exciting. So if you feel ready to show up within a group setting, whether it's an internet-based group, whether it's a team, whether it's a work thing, whether it's some sort of organization that you're volunteering in, there's something as far as a bigger group that is lighting up for you. And this is not just the eclipse. Venus on September 20th, Mercury early in the month, and the Sun already from the beginning are all going to be in Virgo, flooding this 11th house along with the eclipse. So something's happening there. You're ready to bring your internet projects out. You're ready to lead your circle. You're ready to jump in with both feet into a networking situation. You're ready to accept help. You're ready to use discipline, Virgo, to define your friendships and to be discerning. You're ready to put some time into developing friendships and those teams. And this is really great use of this energy. So something else important to know about this month is that as of August 26th through October 21st, we are out of the personal planet retrograde. So if you follow my tidal analogies, when we don't have any personal planets, Venus, Mars, Mercury, retrograde, or their shadow periods, when you try to put things out onto the water, the tide is going out. So things you put out into the world will go further and wider at this time between August 26th and October 21st. So that means information that comes from the eclipses, questions you ask yourself, opportunities, these pressure points that are activating change, where the pot is boiling over with eclipse potentials and these other crossroad potentials, where you're ready to do something, you're ready to take action, and the stars are supporting that because everything is moving forward. So you might be getting a lot of information. You might have started to see some of this information come in the second half of July, more information along the continuum is building. You may start to see where some of this is going, but there also may be surprises that seem to come out of the blue. But either way, this is what's going on for you. You've got a supremely optimistic time from June of 2025 into June, almost July of 2026. You have Jupiter expanding your ninth house of optimism, making the most favorable aspect in all of astrology, the trine, with your Scorpio placements, expanding your perspectives, and giving you a chance to step out of ways of thinking that were causing you trouble. So I started out this discussion by saying that you have opportunities to go beyond what you think now, to stretch further, and to crack out of fixed ways of being. Scorpio is a fixed sign, and that makes Scorpio good at quite a lot of things, and part of what makes you how and who you are. And this Jupiter storyline is giving you a chance to crack out of any of those places where you're becoming limited from being fixed, and where you can stretch out to see a bigger solution or a better solution. We have at least 28 aspects this month, not even including star goddess aspects. So it's a really, really busy sky, and 2/3 of those are salty or challenged aspects. So that's another reason why this month is so intense. But these aren't things to fear. These are things to use for progress. This is a time to get stuff done. Use the Virgo energy, the discipline, the analysis, the consistency, the forward moving stars with the tides going out. All of these things can be on your side to make significant headway in any area of your life. But some of the things that I've spoken about will be things that are definitely in the forefront. One time to really look out is in the days around the 24th. There's Mars squaring Pluto. Both of those are your rulers. So, if I could issue a hide under the rock warning for at least the 19th through, the rest of the month, then definitely just look out for that time especially. It's a particularly nasty time. But again, you can use it for supreme pressure or friction to crack out of something. Sometimes you may be putting up with something for a very long time, and you may need proper impetus in order to get out of it, or to find a way out of it, or to crack out of it. And this is the type of aspect that can give that to you. Now, unfortunately, it can also make people volatile, angry, even violent, dangerous, and so you just need to be aware of that. So I wanted to call that out. Now, if you love astrology and you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, and see my Black Moon promo. Claim over $1,100 in free promos when you register for my Astrology Mastery Certification course now. If you've been thinking about taking this course, this is a fantastic time to do it. I have some new promos that have not been offered before, including Unleash Your Money Magnet, my Celestial Mindscape series, my Train Your Brain Subliminal series, and my new Star Goddess Astrology course. The star goddesses, that some of them I speak of in the readings, and some other ones I don't as much. I go into the astronomy, the mythology, the astrology, and the only way you can actually access this course is for free as a promo when you register for my Astrology Master Certification course now. So you can check that out at beastropro.com. If you want to earn money as an astrologer, I can help you. If you want to learn just to help yourself, your family, and your friends, I can also help you. It's a very comprehensive course. If you like the dates of the aspects and you want more, go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter. I send out weekly newsletters. You do get all of my content early, and you get free VIP access to my eclipse resource page, my retrograde resource page, my zodiac health tips, my 28-day virtual coaching program. Most of the work that I do in the world is free. I only have a few paid things, including my astrology course. So all of the things that I talk about in the readings are pretty much just more free stuff for you. And that's what this is. So when you get the welcome letter, when you sign up, in the archive link there, just click on it and search for September 2025 astrology. And then you'll get, that will be the sweet and salty dates newsletter. And then halfway down, you'll see the dates. And then the second half of that long newsletter, I go into all of the ones to avoid, and why, and what to be most awareful and careful of, and the sweetest aspects. Now, if you want my 2026 Astrological Tides planning calendar and you want the earliest possible access to all of my content, then search for Annie Botticelli Secret Star Portal. And the link is also in the notes underneath the video or podcast, but you can search for, just make sure you put my name, Annie Botticelli Secret Star Portal, and you can register for that. Now, if you want to know why or how all of the outer planets changing signs will affect you, we've had all the outer planets change signs in recent times. Get my personalized report, video series reports at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.